Hey guys, it's Aislinn, and in today's video, we're doing Mariah's hair, and I'm so excited. So today, we're gonna be doing like a similar color scheme, but we're gonna do neon green roots into the dark emerald forest green into the black. So last time we did like forest green on her roots and then black on her ends. If you've not seen that video, I'll leave a link to it up there so you can go watch that and then come back here. Also, I did my makeup this morning on live, so I will leave a link to the live video up here for you guys in case you missed that one. So first step is bleaching her roots. So I went ahead and mixed up Schwarzkopf and 30 volume developer. I'm gonna apply this all over at her regrowth, then we'll let her process, rinse that, and then we can get to the fun part, which is the color. I will leave a link to all the products I'm using in the description down below for you guys, so you can check them out if you want to. So I am just applying the lightener all over at her regrowth. It used to be less often that we would do her hair. Literally, it would be like 6 months in between us like re-dyeing her hair. And now that I see her more often and I bleach her hair more regularly, her hair lifts absolutely beautifully. I also used to use like 20 volume on her a few years ago, and I switched to 30 volume because I just feel like she needed that extra boost of lift. And before, she would lift very yellow and it would be left on her head for like 45 minutes. Now, using 30 volume, we literally only have to leave the lightener on for like 30 minutes max, and her roots lift to like a literal bright white color. You guys will see when we rinse this out how light she gets in such a short amount of time. So I'm just applying this all over her roots, and if you see this leftover color here, it looks blue. I use the Lunar Tides like green shade, and it has like a blue undertone to it. So as the green fades, it fades to like this really pretty like turquoisey, greeny blue shade. So I really love that Lunar Tide shade because it looks different when you first dye it, and then you get a different result with every single wash. So it's kind of like a mood ring, you know, like changes over time. I love that. So I will leave a link to that in the description down below, because if you like dark green, like forest green hair colors, or like an emerald shade, I definitely recommend the Lunar Tides one. Also, I overlapped the lightener a little bit on that bluish section just so that we would have more of that lime green to apply on her mid shaft, and it wouldn't just be like an inch of the lime green and then the rest of that darker green. Where I overlapped that bleach and it went over on that old Lunar Tides like emerald color, it came out of the hair so easily, and it's very rare that you find a green or blue that is this dark when it's first applied and it comes out of the hair this easily. I absolutely love this shade from Lunar Tides. I just can't say enough good things about it. So like I said, I will leave a link to Lunar Tides in the description down below. Also, like, Mariah's hair health has gotten so much better. Honestly, it was such a good decision for her to like dye it all black, let her roots grow out, and just start bleaching her roots. This is what I want to do with my hair eventually, just like let my roots grow out like this and dye them bright colors. The amount of different colors you can have without damaging your hair is literally endless. Like, she gets her hair touched up like every 2 months, and we can literally do a new color at her root over time. So like next time she comes, we could do yellow, and then we could do orange, and she could eventually have like the whole rainbow on her hair until she grows it out. Also, she did get a wolf cut last year in the fall time, and that also cut off a lot of her dead ends, and her hair is literally the healthiest I have ever seen it.
Oh god dang that.
I know. Look like an 80s like metal band person. Okay guys, we're gonna let this process around 30 minutes. I'm just gonna watch it and make sure it gets light enough. She's lifting really quickly, so I'm just gonna keep an eye on it, and I'll be right back once we have this washed out to apply the fun colors. All right, you guys, we are back. We are ready for the color. I have everything mixed up and it looks insanely gorgeous. Look at these colors. Ooh, we are so excited. Let me tell you what I mixed up. Here is what they look like in the bowls. So for the neon green, I used mostly Manic Panic Electric Lizard with a little bit of Aurora Green from Lunar Tides, and then I used a little bit of Space Cowgirl from Arctic Fox. I haven't tried this yet. It's not as vibrant as these two are, so I didn't do a lot of this, but I added some of this in there. I need to breathe.
Stretching time.
I can't with us. For the Lunar Tides, For the darker green, I used Lunar Tide's Juniper Green. This is what we used last time. I love this, but as you can see, I ran out. So I did as much as I could of this. Then I added some Arctic Fox Iris Green. And then I just took some of this Ion Black and I just added a little bit in there to deepen it up. So that's what we're using for the darker green. And then for her black, we're using the same black we always use. This is the Ion Permanent Color and Midnight Blue Black 2B, and we're mixing this with 10 volume. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the neon green at her root, then fade that into the darker green, and then glaze her ends with the black dye, which I have mixed up here. So let's go ahead and get this show on the road because we're excited. And I'm using the earmuffs. Show them. Show them what you're working with. Hell yeah. I'll let you know if they were good.
Everything sounds like muffled and like muffled and crispy.
Are you taking a video of your earmuffs?
I was gonna take a picture of it.
Do it.
I can't get it to hold back.
That's pretty good. So I'm just gonna start applying that neon green, and as you can see, we are so excited about the color and how vibrant it was. We've been wanting to do neon green hair since like 2021, but her hair just wouldn't cooperate with us. So now we're finally able to do neon green, and we were both just like so excited about it. As you guys can tell, I left a lot of bloopers in this video. I feel like a lot of you guys ask questions about our relationship or what our friendship is like, and you guys always tell me that Mariah is so quiet, or like you guys don't really know her personality, because normally when I do these videos, I cut out all the bloopers, and obviously you guys aren't hearing what we're talking about, so you don't get a sense of her personality. But I left a lot of bloopers in this time so you guys can kind of see what our friendship is like. We joke around a lot and we just have a lot of fun, and then we also like talk about serious stuff too, but it's just like a normal best friend relationship, you know? I think next time I do her hair, I'm gonna ask you guys to ask us questions. I'll do like a little poll over on my Instagram story and have you guys ask us questions, so that way we can answer anything you guys have for us and you guys can get to know her a little bit more. If you have any questions about Mariah or her personal life or anything that has to do with her, you guys can ask her. But look at how bright her roots are. That bleach was literally left on there 30 minutes. Like 30 minutes at room temperature. We didn't go outside or anything, and her roots lifted so white. This is another reason why I love Schwarzkopf Blonde Me. It just does such an amazing job at lifting the hair while maintaining the integrity. And like I said, I did drag down the bleach a little bit, so you can see she had about an inch of regrowth when she came to me, and you can see I drug that bleach down about an inch overlapping, so that way we could do more of that neon root. So instead of her having just 1 inch of the neon and then it fading into the darker, we now have like 2 inches of the neon green fading into the darker, so that way everything blends a little bit better and it doesn't just look like she has a little tiny shadow root of the neon green. This technique is actually a lot harder than you would think. Blending semi-permanent colors together is really easy. They're very conditioning, so they blend really easily one color into the other. It gets very complicated when you're working with like a pastel shade and a dark shade, and then also I'm refreshing the black on her ends with a permanent color, so I have to blend permanent color into semi-permanent dye, and it is so stressful to do this, you guys. It seems so easy, like looking at it, it's like, oh, you just blend one color into the other, but you have to make sure that you don't blend that darker green too far up into the neon green. You have to make sure that you don't get any of that darker green on her roots anywhere, or else she'll look like a little cheetah, you know what I mean? And then after you're done with that, you have to go back through with the black, make sure that you don't bring the black too far up to cover the darker green, and you also have to make sure you don't get any of that black permanent dye on her roots anywhere. Again, if I got a little dot of this black anywhere on her head other than her ends, she would have a big black mark on her roots, and again, she would look like a cheetah. So I really take my time during this part. This is our second time doing neon roots on her, and I feel like the more often I do it, the better I get at it. This time was a lot easier than last time we did it. I learned what ways work best. Obviously, starting at the bottom of the head and working your way up is the most efficient, because obviously if I started at the top and applied the darker green and the darker black on her ends and then flipped the hair over her head, that black and that dark green is going to transfer all over the neon color we have. So I start at the bottom of the hair, and what I'm doing is I apply the green shadow root all over, let that sit, And then once all the green shadow root is applied, I go in, work my way from the bottom up to the top of the head, and I apply the dark green into that mid shaft, blending up into the neon green. And I make sure to get a good blend, because if I don't blend the darker into the lighter, obviously there's going to be a band of blonde where I missed putting the dark green on and blending it into the neon green. So I'm really paying attention to taking thin sections, making sure I have enough product, working the color into the hair. You guys can see how much time I'm spending working the color into the hair. It's a very fine line of making sure you bring that dark green up to blend into the neon, but you don't bring it too far up to cover up all of the neon roots. Also, as I'm applying the darker green, I'm picking up more of that neon green and reapplying it at the roots just to make sure everything is saturated. So I go in with a neon green again on every section just to make it easier to blend. Once I have all of that darker green applied to the mid shaft, I'll go in with the black on the ends. And again, I start my way from the bottom of the hair and work my way to the top. I've just found it's a lot easier to do all the semi-permanent colors first. And then once that's done, go in with the permanent black color. This is a lot easier to do now that her hair has grown out about halfway. She's got about half black left, and now she's got about half neon roots. She does have a wolf cut, so the top of her head, she has a lot of layers, and those layers are almost all neon. Just a little bit of black on her tips is left. So it does make it a little bit easier once that black grows out. It's not as scary to do the black on the ends because the likelihood of you transferring it up to the roots is less likely because you're not applying the black as close to the roots. So imagine that all of her hair was black. She grew it out and had only been growing it out for a couple months, and she only had like an inch of regrowth on her hair, and she wanted to do neon roots. That would be a lot harder for me to do than what I'm doing here, because you would be applying the black a lot closer to the root, and when you're bringing black only an inch away from those neon roots, it's a lot more likely that that black is going to touch the roots. At this point, her hair is so grown out, I'm only applying the black to the very ends of her hair, so it's not even close to her roots at this point. So again, the likelihood of me getting the black on her roots is a lot less likely. As long as I start at the bottom and work my way up to the top, I'm pretty safe in not getting any black on her roots. So you can see here, I'm going back through her hair, just sectioning it off all over again, and I am now applying the black on her ends. And because her hair is already black and I'm just refreshing it, I don't have to take super small sections when applying the black. It's just a black glaze I'm putting on her ends so that way they're not brown. It's just refreshing everything, so I'm able to take thicker sections to just refresh the color. I don't have to be as meticulous about making sure to take super thin sections and making sure to saturate really, really well. Her hair is already pretty black, so I'm just going through and making sure to glaze everything and resaturate. I do have to be careful with blending. I have to make sure and blend that black into that dark green, but again, not blending it too far up, because if I blend that black too far up into that dark green, it's going to cover the green, and making sure that that green is still showing in that band. So I have to pay attention to how far up I'm dragging the black. Like I said, this is a very stressful process. Neon roots are hard to do. I cannot imagine trying to do this on myself. I feel like it's hard enough to do on someone else when I can see all around their head. You know, I have a good angle on the back of the head. I can't imagine trying to do this on myself, blending 3 different colors into each other, making sure I don't get any of that permanent black on anything else. Thankfully, like I said, the more and more I do it, the easier it's gotten. This time felt like a breeze, honestly, compared to the last time we did her hair. So I feel like the more and more we do this, the easier it's gonna get for me. Okay guys, we are done applying the color. We're gonna let this process 25 minutes. Rinse using cold water, and I will be right back to show you guys the finished results, and it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. It's like so neon. I'm really excited. All right, you guys, we are back, and this is officially my favorite hair we have ever done on her. The blend is just gorgeous. It's seamless. In the sunlight, it is like insane. We were both so excited with the results. We could not believe how well all the colors blended into one another. Also, this color combination with her haircut is absolutely stunning. Like, this color placement is perfect for the wolf cut. Here I opened the curtain so you guys could see what this looks like in direct sunlight. It is so insanely neon and vibrant, and the color melt from the neon roots into that bluish dark green is insane. I kept making her go around the house in different lighting to show you guys what it looks like. Here's another video on my phone. You can see how beautiful and seamless the blend is on these colors. Oh, we love it. Again, I will leave a link to everything we used for this hair color in the description down below. Don't forget to check out my Instagram. The link to that is in the description down below. I post way more of my everyday life on there. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.